Hello Coldia, it's me. Now, if you've watched the channel before, maybe you've seen a video a while ago. It's one of the first videos on this channel. It goes over every single location in the map. Now, that came out in 2022, so obviously, why don't we make a new one? You know, because we've gone so much more places and we've gotten so much older, which means we're allowed to go more places. So we're gonna do that today. Now the thing is, we've been expanding our reach because, you know, we have bus passes now and stuff like that. We're not gonna go to those areas. We're just gonna go to the areas that you can go to on a bike. Now a lot of these areas are very common to visit. Some of these areas are not. We're going to be prioritizing the areas that are very common to visit. So let's hop on the bike and we'll get out of here. I don't know if you guys can see it in the cameras, but it's smoky out here, which is interesting because it's like early to mid-June. Usually it's not this smoky. Sometimes mostly it's smoky mid-summer to late summer. So when it gets chilly here, it feels like fall, and that's really weird. But hey, we've got it all hooked up. We're ready to go. We're gonna start at the very south at the Golden Plateau. Right, here we are, the furthest south area, even further south than Seaton, the Golden Plateau. It was found back in 2024, and the reason we call it the Golden Plateau, it's actually only this area, but we call the general area the Golden Plateau, is look at those trees. The bark is literally gold colored. And over there, far over there, there's a death forest. It's really dark, really weird because even in June, there's snow. I would go, but I want to save energy. If you look on this side, you can see the towers at Seaton and even a bit of Mount Coldia up there. Isn't that cool, huh? Well, on to our next spot. So, just north of the Golden Plateau, and usually when you're going for an expedition out to the Golden Plateau, you will pass this area, under a bridge from Seaton. Now this area, we call it this is the real death forest. Why? Well, looks like it's straight out some massive death-causing event. Apocalypse maybe? A war? Well, if we look here, there's even one up there that used to be there. It's massive. There are signs of an active group there, but it's gone now. So here we have the remains of an old fortress here. Even if you come down into this, you can see there's a trench. Whoa. It goes up to hip height, which means this could be a really good defense. Like if you're having a battle here of some sort, if people were coming along, you had some good, oh crap, I just put my hand on that. You had some good camouflage, they wouldn't see you coming. Right? Now let's go check out this abandoned fortress. There used to be a bridge here of some sort. Can't see the wood plank. We actually came here earlier in the year. But check this out, look. String. That does not occur naturally like this. Okay. But yeah, look, there was a tent here. Even paths that go through it. So yeah. Squirrel on the tree. Yeah. Now up just north there is Seaton. Let's start looking at the locations there. We've made it to Seaton. And here we have, tucked in a little eastern corner, oil rig number 2. Now why aren't we doing oil rig number 1 first? Well, the map and route that I made to film this video actually supposed to be the fastest and easiest route, even though it probably isn't. But hey, we just got to oil rig number 2 first. So what's this place for? Well, in 2024 when Seaton gained a massive boost in popularity due to the release of the Seaton Quest feature, this oil rig was a point of interest. You could come here to kill the, I can't remember what they were called today, these creatures with tentacles. Very dangerous, but if you took out the queen of the hive here, you got a crap ton of resources to craft with. Yeah, it's always a tradition to come here. 7-Eleven pizza, because 7-Eleven's right up there. So yeah, see you at the next location. So, here we are. Now this area is probably the newest. big bridge. This is an area called the platform. Why is it called the platform? Well, when the quest for this area finally came out, I kind of envisioned them happening on a big floating island with propellers underneath it, right? A platform. What do we got here? We got a market sort of thing there, entrance there, hotel here, big sprawling society floating away in the corrupt government that is Coldia. Yeah, it's separate, but hey, actually kind of fun when you get over here. Right. So over here we have a place called the capital. Why is it called the capital? Well, it's probably the most populous, I think, area in all of Seaton, right? Got this massive park here, like community thing over there with papers and news thing, and even over here there's a big hockey rink, basketball, whatever. There's even gladiators stand down there. Now, it's kind of like in BC, where Victoria's the capital, but Vancouver's bigger. This is the capital of Seaton. Very, very big area. Coldians don't visit it much considering the political landscape of the lands. However, this is probably one of the safest places in the island. So, if you've ever done a Seaton quest, you'll certainly recognize this area. Probably the start of all quests. This here is a place we call the market. Why is it the market? Well, whenever a quest is here, you can buy all your stuff here. Got a big hotel in these trees, that's where you can sleep. Birds. Yeah, there's lots of stuff here. There's even this table. Oh, the police chase going on. In case you can't see that. Anyways, yeah. Market here. Well, another good part of this, you can see the entire view. You can see the entire Coldian coastline from here. There's a spot that we might get to when we're doing the Coldia section of this video, where we'll look back down from here. Now, yeah, this is a good place to be. Even if you're not doing quests, if you're doing like a military deployment campaign or something, this is definitely a good spot to be. Why? You have high ground. This place literally connects anywhere. That is always the path we take to Golden Plateau. That path takes you to the platform. Then all the rest here just takes you to different parts of the seat. This is probably the best vantage point. But yeah, let's head to our next area, which is probably even down there. Alright, some of you watching the video might recognize this paint on the ground. Some of you might not. Maybe the brick walls. This here is the facility. It's actually where people went to school. A good chunk of Coldians we know today. But since there's people over at the real kind of facility area, so we can't really film it. But hey, facility. What happens here? Not much. But hey, pretty fun to go to. Sometimes. There's not much reason to anymore. But it's a big piece of history, especially our history. So yeah, on to the next area. Boy, check it out already. Over here we have the quarry. Great place to start your quest. There's actually a freshwater spring that comes out of there. The water runs all the way through there. I think it goes back underground. Yeah, there's like a pipe over there. It's kind of like a swamp there. Anyways, why is this place important? Well, not only if we keep going that way, which we're not going today because of how tuckering this is, it's twin lakes. 2 lakes side by side. Quest always to just run up there. Now, the quarry here was actually a point of interest. Coldia, during the most recent Cold War between Seaton and Coldia, was planning on invading this area first and occupying it in order to take as much rock as they could because of, well, Coldians still had slingshot muskets in their arsenal, which means, hey, they need ammo. BBs aren't going to work with slingshots. Rocks will. Right? Word, quarry, rocks. Yeah. But anyways, this place is a great place for quests. The elevation stuff adds a lot of storytelling potential. Yeah, just be a little careful if you bring prop guns, because this is a highway. People might be suspicious. But hey, it's never happened to us, considering all of our guns are either cardboard colored or highly orange. Look, there's still a police chase going. I saw like another one going that way. There was also a helicopter earlier this morning. It was really interesting. I wonder what's happening. Anyways, our next point of interest, and the last point of interest for Seaton, is down there. Then we will take that and we will make our way to the next chapter of our story, Coldia. Here, finally, oil rig number 1. Why didn't we start with this? I explained it earlier. What's important about this place? Well, it's also a good place where quests start. Considering the current leader of Seaton, Cove, the duck, he's far over that way, will often come over here to stop by for a rest. Quests too. There's graffiti on here from times long past. I swear the graffiti that's been here since like 2022, there's still marks of it. It's kind of hard to see though. Yeah, very interesting place. And if you look at the ground, it's actually made of incredibly fine sand. Still gravel on top, but hey, it's interesting. So that concludes Seaton. Land apocalypse level disaster. Where are we heading next? Probably the place that caused it all. And probably the home of everyone's favorite magical land, Coldia. We'll see you there. Well, we've crossed the channel, made it up the Bronze Gate Bridge, made it to the first town in Coldia. It's the bridge. Port Rattlesnake. The dock has been stolen or something. Hey, you know it's Port Rattlesnake when the horse is here. Yes, lovely, lovely horse. Oh! Right, so, Port Rattlesnake. Why is it called Rattlesnake? Well, there's no rattlesnakes here, but there are garter snakes. It's a very interesting area. It's a full park. It's got these stepping stones around it. And yeah, right above it, Mount Coldia. So if you want to go to Mount Coldia, you can go through there. Yep. Rattlesnake. Finally in Coldia, let's head to our next spot. Probably don't think about it much, but here's the river. River is probably one of the best views in Coldia, I'd say. Actually quite stunning. The river is actually 2 parks in one. It's this part, and over the buildings you can kind of see it over there. Okay, but yeah, where those evergreen trees are in the far distance by the highway, there's a different area there, so that's not as cool. The river. It's got beavers and creatures. I'm gonna sneeze. You can see some right there. Over there, there's a big tunnel. That tunnel leads directly to Evans Island. In that tunnel is a crap ton of graffitis. Yep, lots of it. It's actually kind of pretty, if you like that stuff. But hey, it's the river. Beautiful, beautiful Sunset Valley. Why do they call it Sunset Valley? Well, ow. Sun's up there. And the sun literally sets in between, like right there where that road is. So if you come here, you can see it pretty good. Everyone chooses to go to Mount Coldia instead. But hey, fun fact about this area, if the Blueberg War continued, we would have fought here actually. It's unfortunate it never happened because I think it would have been a really interesting place to fight. Using this grass as cover, running in between the valley. Very interesting. If you were here for the 2024 storyline, this was actually where the villain of the year, the Quake, set his resistance movement up. Yeah. Very pretty location. On to the next one. Okay, this area, you recognize the rocks and hear the trees. This area is definitely way past its golden age. Evergreen! Woo! Evergreen used to be the most popular park, I swear. Every day. Back in 2021, everyone would come down here. Oh yeah. What happened though? There was another society here called the Bluebergians, and we ended up doing a trade agreement with them. We gave them magic cards, and they gave us sticks. But they started coming up when we didn't. They didn't. Crap, sorry. When we didn't want them to, kind of bugging us. So, what's the obvious conclusion to that? Go to war. Duh. So, yeah, this area kind of fell out of fashion after that, considering the connection. But hey, this area, oh, that bush is completely new. I've never seen that before. This area is now actually featured in the upcoming Coldia Within. It's really interesting looking at this place after I built it in the game, but yeah, it's actually a very nice place to come. Yeah, I actually like it here a lot. It actually kind of feels humid over here considering the plants. Almost like a jungle or a rainforest. But yeah, let's move to another area. Okay, so the next two towns weren't really that prominent. In fact, the next one, we've actually never ventured into it for any quest or purpose. It's just been there. But here, we have Treetop Town. Also featured in Coldia Within. Why do we call it Treetop Town? Because these trees are massive. There's also benches here. We'd always pass this. Back in the early days of Coldia, we'd be like, damn, I wish our cul-de-sac was like this. Like, imagine that. Look at these seats. This is awesome. The only really major time this place was used was when the mountain expeditions were happening. In fact, when Mount Coldia had a search party heading to it to investigate for caves in the snow, we actually set up here. Now the snow was really thick. It was like up to here. Aside from that though, this was a very good resting spot before you started climbing that behemoth. Yeah, Treetop Town. Very pretty. Well, I've actually never been here. This is Limestone Town. Why is it called Limestone Town? Look at the houses, they look like stone. Never actually seen limestone in my life. But I imagine it's white. And it's too late to change it. It's been named Limestone Town for like, what? How long has it been since 2017? Anyways, yeah. Nothing's ever happened here. I've actually never stepped foot here. This is actually a very interesting location. Look at this. This is cool. Huh. Yeah. It's kind of eerie here. It's really, really silent. There's a door there to the safari zone as well. Cool. Let's head to the next spot. I've actually taken an excursion to Banff halfway through this video. This is some pond I found in the mountains. Looking at some wild geese. No, I'm just kidding. This is Catskill County. This place is absolutely beautiful. It's also slightly sad. Why? Well, one year we were trick-or-treating. We came down here and when we knocked on the doors, a ton of the people here said that they never get trick-or-treaters. So yeah. If you're ever trick-or-treating, make your way down here. It's a very interesting area. It's got this Thomas the Tank Engine looking bridge here, pond up there, pond down there. Sometimes the water will be running. The waterfall goes down through here. Yeah, very beautiful place. I love it here. We've made it to the capital. And if you know that we're coming south, you'll know that we've made it to Coldia's best park. I swear, the amount of stuff that's happened here, how iconic this place is. There's two gophers fighting in the distance. How accessible. Just this place is filled with history. Ladies and gentlemen, Phoenix Hills. I don't think there's any other place in Coldia that matches the awesomeness here. Right? Look at this. The amount of variety of like plants and locations that we can use just to like pretend there's stuff going on is, oh wow. I would like to point out, if you see, that, there, and there used to be bridges there. Unfortunately, they were removed. Very sad. Down to Earth made a song about it. But yeah, to honor the loss of those awesome bridges, they will be put in Coldia within, and all other subsequent Coldia games. But yeah, Phoenix Hills, absolutely amazing. Up next we have the capital of Coldia, Morgan City, capital of Coldia. Why is it the capital and not some big park or shopping plaza, outdoor mall? This is where it started. This cul-de-sac, Coldia. That's where it comes from. Yep, here it is. We're back home here, and well, that doesn't mean the trip is over. We still have a ton of places to visit. Yep, here it is. I'm gonna take a short break, and then, yeah. Alright guys, I just got back. I spent 20 minutes back home drinking a crap ton of water and emptying out my phone storage so I could keep filming. Now if you're looking at the sand beneath me, this is actually new. I haven't checked this out in a while, but the top of this dune has been raided by gophers. In fact, the entire desert, it's the desert, has been claimed by the gophers. Very interesting. Look, there's one right now. Wait, where'd it go? It's gone. Okay. Well, the desert. What's cool about this place? It's major location in within Coldia within the game, along with Phoenix Hills. But yeah, common areas. That over there is the temple and its hotel, bakery, military base. That's the church and those trees. You know, I might just be pointing at trees to people who don't do Coldia stuff here, but really good thing if you're like kind of pretending you're in Coldia. Any neighborhood can be Coldia. This is just ours. You're pretending, you know, these trees, the inside of the trees can be buildings and stuff. What this park is usually used for now is, if you look over there, it kind of dips. There's a trench over there. That big field there, oh, I'm gonna burp. Oh, I drink so much water. Is actually used for military training now. Since it's such a wide open field, it's good for marching, considering the military line infantry styles that are used nowadays. But yeah, welcome to the desert. Man, no wonder they call it the desert. It's sandy and it's dry. Next location is Bustle City. It's actually over there, but you can see there's two people my age, and I don't want to go and grab them. Bustle City. Why am I at the field specifically, aside from that? Well, this field is where the International Coldian Legion had their first battles. Yeah, Nerf wars happen here all the time. Why is it called Bustle City though? Well, if you come here in the evenings after school and on the weekends, this place is packed. It's bustling. Yeah, probably one of the most important unsung locations in Coldia. We're gonna make this one quick. Merchant City. Biggest city in Coldia, at least. Why is it the biggest city? Because it's massive. Why are they called Merchant City? Shop, 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 store, store. Yeah. That's pretty much it. Not really a living place. Just a big city full of shops. Like a massive mall. Okay. Well, we were just up there, and now we are here. Now there's another area over there, but there's a ton of kids there, and guess what? I don't like filming children. Why? Because that's weird. Also, because it makes me look weird. I don't want to look weird. But here we have Buffalo Town. Why is it called Buffalo Town? Because this school here is called Buffalo Rubbing Stone. I've never been here. But hey, anytime you come to eat here, this is a popular place to visit. It's got lots of stuff to do. People like to climb up there. It's a maze thing. And then the funnest part, check this out, look. It's a whole section where you can make music. Yeah, that. Cool. There's this thing here. Cool. And then, yeah, there's this big ring here. People like to run on it. It's these things. And then no one knows what these are for. I think they could be birds' nests. But if they're birds' nests, why would they put them where a ton of kids are constantly going to be screaming, grab the eggs, and toss them at each other, right? It's a fun spot. not as fun as our next place, the lake resort. The fountains are back. Yep, here we have the lake resort. Everyone calls it the lake resort. It's like a resort town. And well, if you think that's weird, well, this is a freaking RPG looking land. Like Pokemon has a freaking mall as a city. I would love to live there. Anyways, it's the lake resort. Back in the Mafia days, in the Mafia season, this was a resort. Because what's more Mafia than luxury and resort? And we didn't really have any other beach areas to go to, so hey, this is it. Technically, this area's official name is Bubble Beach. No one calls it that. But hey, here's the lake resort. Yeah, okay. Clockwork Town. Those kids are chasing each other with sticks, but why is it called Clockwork Town? Hold on, fight happening here. Gears. That's why they call it Clockwork Town. This place hasn't really been visited much. It's not really that important, but hey, it's definitely cool. Nice place to visit. Definitely will not be useful in the Coldia video game. Nuclear Town. Sorry, so tired. I've been going uphill. There's gonna be so much uphill soon. Whatever, stronger legs. Anyways, Nuclear Town. Y'all might know Nuclear Town. Funnily enough, its most significant role being a part of the Halloween Jam, in which the song Nuclear Town isn't even its song. I didn't have a song for Nuclear Town. I didn't have enough time to make one, so I just used the shop song. But yeah, why do we call it Nuclear Town? Well, in the lore back in 2020 when the nuclear systems failed, this was one of the radioactive things. This bulb here, because of how static it was, everyone's like, okay, that's where the energy comes from, because it makes electricity. This became a nuclear electricity plant. Cool, not cool, whatever. But yeah, the path goes straight up there to the top. There's a rabbit right there. Yeah, it goes up to the desert. Really, not many quests have actually happened here. Now that I remember it, nothing. Yeah, why are the rabbits massive? Yeah, no quests. I think it's the radiation. But yeah, let's head to the next spot. Well, probably one of the more iconic cities in Coldia. Here's Unisite. Yeah, it's literally like less than 5 minutes away from Rogan City, the capital. It's kind of like how Airdrie is to Calgary. So close. Opera House, hospital, town hall, market, same as it is in Halloween Jam. Where do you think they got the inspiration? Anyways, yeah, this place is pretty iconic. Not much to say because of how many quests have happened here. The funny thing is, anytime anyone had a quest here, they ended up totally like destroying the place. Like on 3 separate occasions, these towers got blown up. These towers are technically oil rigs, by the way. That's why Unisite, the lore for Unisite's a pretty rich town. They make all their money from the only oil deposit in Coldia under the ground. So they mine it straight into the heart of downtown. Yeah, Unisite. Real nice place to be. Well, here we are in Warehouse Town, and now that I'm looking at it, it kind of feels more like an European villa. But why do we call it Warehouse Town? Well, specifically over in that area, all the garages make it look like a ton of warehouses. So the lore for this area was when the Mafia was running the government in Coldia, they used cargo as a currency. It's a Mafia city thing. I know, that's weird. But hey, that's where the currency all originated from here. No one ever utilized that lore. I'm pretty sure if you came here and did like a raid or something, you'd get a ton of cargo currency. But yeah, up next is Martian Valley. Martian Valley, why do they call it Martian Valley? These red sands. Now the lore behind these areas is, well, we never played baseball, so you had to come up for a different idea of how to use these, right? What does this feel like? How does this look like? The sand on Mars. What do those look like? Satellite dishes. So, the idea for this area is that these are actually big satellite dishes communicating with Mars. And due to whatever the magic system is, keystones here, the Mars data was sent here, or something like that, causing the ground to look like Mars. That's why they call it Martian Valley. A lot of places here are called Valley, huh? Valley, canyon, hills, town, fort. Yeah, massive field. Most of the quests that happened here actually just happened in this section. Barely any times than they happened there. I do remember one time, in those trees right there, there was this really very good environmental storytelling bit. It was so deep, so dark, just so emotionally perfect. Yeah. Also, under these trees, I remember for like a year, anytime I'd pass through there was like a couple there, they'd be making out. It was really weird. They were, you could hear it. Yeah. Here it is, Mount Coldia. Best view in the entire land. You can really see the smoke up here, but also here, two birds with one stone, Mountain Town. Mountain Town, and the rare off chance that we did a quest out here, which I feel like we should have spent more time out here. Mountain Town. They always start here. Everybody knows Mount Coldia. Everybody loves Mount Coldia. It's the most legendary spot because of how close to nature it is. No other place in Coldia comes this close. This land is pretty much untouched compared to, like, you know, before the neighborhood was here. Like, even in that forest over there, there's still fences from the ranch that used to be here, the Hanson Ranch. The guy on the horse statue, like, there's still evidence of him being out here. This place is absolutely crazy. That's why it is probably the most special place out here. It's definitely going to play an important role in the game. Little fun tidbit though. This is where, ethnically, people from Omega originate here. So if you come out here during any quests, oh, there's some guy mountain bike. Yeah, if you come here during quests, there's always, if you meet the people, like ethnically native to here, NPCs, they'll share a lot of characteristics with people from Omega. Yeah, you can see right there. Good old Mount Coldia. Best place in all of Coldia. Maybe second best, I like the detail a lot. That might actually wrap it up here. Okay, so this area was not planned on the route, but hey, I'm stopping by anyways. So here, we call this the Olympic area, because at the end of one of the last Coldia Olympics, this area was actually chosen for the final game. So if you didn't know anything about the Coldian Olympics, the last game was always voted on, and on that year, it was voted to be grounders. So we were there, and there's kids there, I don't want to film them. Yeah, so that area. Also some trees over there that are fun to climb. There's a weirdo I know who likes to climb them all the time, and she could do it really fast. Yeah, let's go to the next area. Little disclaimer, some of the next few areas, the route indicates that we're gonna go through Damesland, do some Damesland stuff, then go back to Coldia for a few things. So all the next areas are gonna be included in Damesland, because this middle area is a disputed land, like a shared land between the Kingdom of Damesland and the Empire of Coldia. So yeah, the first area here is the Ghost Town. We call it the Ghost Town because, hey, no one ever comes here, and it's actually kind of creepy. Yeah. What's it got? This, I don't know, looks ghosty, looks empty, oddly shady. There's something off about it. It looks old in a neighborhood that's definitely not as old as it seems. There's something off here. That's why we call it Ghost Town. Now there is another park in this disputed area that we accidentally bumped into when we were trying to find this one, and we ended up calling it Ghost Town. But no, that's Sky High Town. We'll get there eventually. This is Ghost Town. yeah. Let's continue into Damesland. Beyond these bent gates is a hidden spot in Damesland. Oh look, the falcon's there. Or hawk, whatever. This area actually was never discovered by Coldians and was only brought to our attention by, in fact, Setonians. You see, this region is actually where Setonians migrated from. So if you think about it, Setonians really actually just come from Damesland. But up here is the great Mount Huff and Puff. Why is it called Mount Huff and Puff? What am I doing right now? Huffing and puffing. Yeah, thank God we're going downhill, because it's crazy. But if you look out here, you can pretty much see everything. You can see a lot of Carrington, which we will go to soon. Northern parts of Coldia and Damesland. The entire upper Damesland. You can even see an airport in the distance. Oh, that's the airport. Yeah, excellent view. The thing is though, there's a lot of buildings around here. And it doesn't go down on the other side. This is definitely an interesting spot. Yeah. This is also a speculated battle spot for the Coldian military when the Seton-Coldian Cold War was happening earlier this year. Yeah, let's officially move to Damesland. Let's see. Here we have Mount Huff and Puff Down. That little pathway there is the entrance to Mount Huff and Puff. Now, the interesting thing about this area is the origin. Ancient Setonians really like to sled from the top of the mount through this entire path. They would land in the trees. And they go up and down as then, this stress and exhaustion make them puff and puff. That's where the mountain's name comes from. Yeah. See this point in the distance. The next location, Damesland Castle. Alright, Damesland Castle. Now Damesland, its whole theme is that it's in like a medieval style kingdom in the modern age. Right? Now here we have the wishing tree. Now, the legend of Good King Damesland. Good King Damesland is the monarch of Damesland. He's a very good king. And he planted here this tree by planting a earth keystone in the ground. Yeah, and when this tree came up, then you offer wishes. And on your cigarette butts, apparently. But here, let's check this place out. This is a freaking castle. Like, look at this. There's spires. This is a castle. It looks even better from the outside. Alright. Next park, we have Coldia Canyon. We used to call it the Grand Canyon of Coldia, which it kind of is, but hey. Coldia Canyon. There's never really been quests here. It's always just been a really pretty place to pass by. Yeah. Now sometimes the water down there is higher, sometimes it's lower. If we look, it seems to be low at the moment. But yeah, what do you expect when it's dry and this is a storm pond? Very interesting. It goes all the way up there. We're gonna see the top part after we go through the meaty part of Damesland. But yeah, interesting fact, there's actually a sewage tunnel down there. Don't go down there unless you're a dumbass or a druggie, or both. That's suspicious. Ew. Don't go down there, man. Ew. But yeah, the rest of this, Coldia Canyon. Damesland's over there. Damesland's... The biggest part of Damesland is Damesland City itself. Now, Damesland City, absolutely massive. Think of Merchant City, but bigger. Like, we look through the trees, there's a massive supermarket there, there's a police station, rec center, academy, high school there. It's massive, and if you look down there, there's a ton of shops too. This is only Upper Damesland. We're gonna go through to Lower Damesland and check out the other shops that they have too. Yeah, there's Damesland Castle over there, canyons over there. Yeah, this place is absolutely massive. If you truly want to go shopping, you come here. Or Carrington, but we'll get there. This wasn't on the route. Second time I've done this. But Damesland Lake, bigger lake than Bubble Beach, but it's actually a lot better when it's not being renovated. It's actually really pretty. I came down here at night for someone's birthday. Probably one of the best hangouts I've ever had. Yeah, it's really nice out here. Definitely take a walk around here. Might stink. It doesn't look new, but it kind of gives a Vancouver coastline vibe. It's really nice. Right. South of Damesland City. Pretty much the same, except it's got this more rustic look. There's an A&W there. Go up there, takes you over to North Damesland. And if you go down that way, there's actually some train tracks. Very interesting area, but I don't have the energy to go all the way down there, so we're not gonna. Alright, 2 more locations left, and we're headed to Carrington. Up, dude. Yeah, so if you heard earlier in the video, there was an area we called Ghost Town, and I mentioned there was another park that we mistook for Ghost Town. This is it. This is actually called Sky High Town. Why? It's elevation. It's actually possibly on equal height level with Mount Coldia. However, can't really tell because there are houses and stuff blocking your view. 360. The only real view you can get if you look out all the way over there and you can see Carrington. Yeah, it's very interesting. There's even a table over there. Like, there's not even a path that goes there. So, you never see that. I think we have one more area in Damesland / Coldia, and then we'll be on our way to Carrington. Here we have Hydrolitz. Hydrolitz. Why is it called that? Weird name. Well, during the Seatonian-Coldian War, this place had no name. It was chosen as a good site for a possible battle. So we called it Hydrolitz, because it sounded similar to Austerlitz. What's here? Well, it's massive. Goes all the way around to Merchant City, and an area called the Hub because it connects so many areas, named by Omega. Follow the river all the way down there, then you get to the canyon. Isn't that interesting? This river, though, is dry as heck. So imagine the combat potential in there. Yep, up onto Carrington. Welcome to Carrington. Official term is Atlantis, but that never caught on. Atlantis City. Whoa! Look at this place. It's packed. There's a freaking McDonald's here. What do we have? There's a skate park there, convenience store there. There's a clown there. Nice seating areas, basketball, actual playground, and more seating areas. This place is awesome, right? You don't even have to go much to do it. Like, you just go over the hill. Sorry, bridge. Go over the bridge. Oh, my mind is getting slow. Yeah, entrance. Great entrance to a great area. Let's keep going. Now, coming around this bend or that bend, you might think you're just out of green space, but no. We're at our next town, Aqua Town, which is blue. Creative naming, right? There's nothing quite interesting. What is that sound? There's nothing quite interesting about the place. I don't know what that is. But it's definitely one of the more, get this, keystone places, right? Very, very interesting, as when people were first exploring Carrington, this was one of the places they stopped. Not officially, they just did. Yeah. The more popular place is coming up next. Okay, 2 areas and 1 video here. Lake Carrington actually probably goes underground, goes all the way over to there, which is blocked by this building. I don't even know what's in the building, but hey, when I said in the last clip that there's an even more popular location to visit. I'm talking about this place. Why is it so cool? There is actually 3 stories to it. There's only 2 parks. We're gonna come up to it soon, that have a multi-level playground on them. Very interesting, huh? Like, you'd wonder why there isn't more of them. But yeah, there we go. A party going on in there. Alright, so I wasn't able to get up in the other 3-story tower because there were kids in there. And I don't want to fool kids. Now here, but here I'm in another 3-story tower. Really nice. I don't know if I showed anything, but hey, another one here. We don't go to this one as much. It's not real wood. Because of how hard it is to find. It took me 10 minutes to find this, guys. And one more park in Carrington, and then we'll move to our final destination, Evanston. Okay, here we have probably the most interesting park. Call it the Hex Lab. It doesn't really feel like a town, it feels more like a laboratory. Hexagonal shapes, the way it folds in and out of each other itself. Very interesting. I've only ever seen like 2 other parks with this shape. Maybe 1 actually. It's on Center Street in Calgary. But yeah, I think that concludes the Carrington section of this. I will admit there are other park areas that I did miss, but this camera's low on battery and we just never go there. So yeah, let's head to Evanston. Okay, made it to Evans Island, or just Evans Land. I was wrong. At Skytop Town, there's a table there without a path coming to it, but here we have Parkour Town. Why do we call it Parkour Town? Because it's good for doing parkour. Like, look at this. You can jump on everything here. So fun. On to the next one. Here we have the town of Great Bridge. The story about this town is that it was a fortress, I'd call it. This massive bridge defended against this hill from the people invading from Evans Island. Defended them well, but it's part of the Evans Island country, so I don't think it did very well on point. But just to prove the fact that we had to remake this video, look, there's like 4 more classrooms added to this school. So yeah, one of these houses actually burned down recently too. But yeah, here it is. Look at that. The town of Great Bridge. Alright, next location, Goose Lake. Why is it called Goose Lake? Does it look like a goose? Does that answer your question? Dude, there's so many geese here. The reason we call it Goose Lake now, it didn't have a name before, but it does now because once there were travelers coming through here and we had to draw our swords on the geese to make sure they wouldn't attack us. Yeah. There's also a pride flag painted here. Much support. Love it. Yeah. Everyone is welcome in Coldia. Lovely. I don't really like this lake. I'm gonna be real with you. There is a secret path for mountain bikers to go along there. So that's interesting. Whoa. Is this a outdoor Shakespeare in the Park Shakespearean level theater? Wow. I'd love to perform here if the ground wasn't this. What is this? I don't even know what this place is supposed to be. Is it just a gathering area? It looks like a stage. I will admit these are cool though. Like, what is this place? Well, Evans City, similar to Merchant City and Upper and Lower Damson City. It's a big shopping area. Real fun to visit. There's a DQ here. I was gonna visit it. Now my phone's about to die, so I'm not gonna. This area's cool too. There's also this massive school or something being built here. That totally messed up my map. So yeah, very interesting place to visit. There's like a thing there too. I don't know what it says. I'm not gonna go check. Head is making me so thirsty right now. I'm gonna drink so much water when I get home. New Evergreen. Why do they call it New Evergreen? Because it looks like Evergreen back in Coldia. But it's new, from it's in a new land, you know, like New London, New York, stuff like that. Now, this area used to have a gong up there. It's gone. The gong is gone. But the interesting about it is this platform. what did we come up with for this platform? Now, at the time, if you went to the ultimate base, the night shifts had this ambience where it was like creepy radio frequencies. The lore that connected it was they were coming from here. This was a Cold War station that was accidentally left running, and somehow the animatronics picked it up. It's crazy, I know, but I kind of like it. But yeah, very interesting architecture here. I think we only have 2 more places to go, and then we're headed home. Let's finish it up. All right, we've arrived at our second last location, and it's definitely an odd one. This is Lavender Belltown. Why is it called Lavender Belltown? Well, firstly, we couldn't decide between Lavender Town and Belltown, so we combined them. Lavender. No other purple parks in Coldia. Actually, it's gonna start a trend here. This park is full of things that you don't really see in other parks. Oh yeah, there's these bell things. Look at that, man. Now the lore here is that this town, you never see people here. The theory is that aliens made this. Oh my gosh, how could aliens have made it? What does that look like to you? A playground? Yeah, well, yeah, it's a playground. But it looks like a UFO, doesn't it? You gotta have that environmental storytelling, you know? Look, it's even got bells. There's nothing else in the Western Isles that looks like this. Creepy here. So we're gonna head to our last location. We made it to our final spot. Seaside Town. Why do they call it Seaside Town? We're by the sea. I know it's a pond, but we're by the sea. Look at this even. There's a freshly beaver chopped tree here. Isn't that interesting? Sometimes if you come here, you'll see like cranes. Not like construction cranes, but like the bird crane. Got this here. We've got a fun playground over there. Oh, this is the last town. I will admit we've missed a ton. We missed Mount Evans and all the parks that are near that. Totally skipped them, but I've only been to them once, so they don't really count. We've come to these areas before as groups. Oh, my legs are so sore and I am so thirsty. Might just close my eyes here. Thank you for watching. That's our updated video. Oh.